Hi, I am Alan Gurvey, and this is Gurvey's Law. Michelle Lobato isn't here today. Well, she's kind of here, but it is really exciting because I get my old co host back that we did this show for so many years. She needs no introduction, even though I'd love to do it. Kerri Kasem is back on Gurvey's Law.
Yay! I'm so happy to be back. I missed you. We did the show for what, like 7 years?
At least.
Crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you look amazing, by the way. You're not here with me. I wish you were, but you really look amazing, and I really miss doing the show with you. We've had so many great shows, so much fun, and I want to get right to it because we only have a half an hour, and Kerri and I could probably talk forever, but we need to bring in one of your favorite people, Kerri, Corey Feldman. Yay. Welcome back to Gurvey's Law, Corey Feldman.
I know I was going to do that too.
Hi, everybody.
Hi,
Kerri. How are you? Thanks for doing this. Hi.
Of course. I mean, we just saw each other a week ago.
Right.
And, we're karaoke.
And we were doing karaoke.
That's right. Karaoke.
Yes.
Was it karaoke or karaoke?
No, so on my box set, Love Left 2.1, it's a 6-disc set, and one of the discs is called Karaoke. And what it is an instrumental disc. Some of my greatest songs, but instrumental versions with just the TV track, which means there's background vocals so you can sing along. And then there's another disc where we actually have word videos. So you can put in the word videos disc and you can read along and you can sing along. So you can do Karaoke. But then I was invited last week to Kerri's little karaoke party. And of course, hers is called Kerri.
That's right. That's right. And you know that I was on one of his first albums, all the back.
That's true. This is true. That's right. Actually, it wasn't one of my first albums. It ended up, because this is how things happen, but it ended up on my most successful album ever, Kerri, which is Angelic to the Core. The song was from the Angelic to the Core album, and it was the song about having peace in the world. It's called Take a Stand, and you were on that song, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it was a couple songs, actually. It was like, oh,
no. I'm wrong. Hold on. You weren't on Take a Stand. That was actually Susie. Never mind.
That's fine.
Oh, Kerri.
Susie's his ex-wife.
Oh, my goodness.
Girlfriend.
Well, she did.
And he has a girlfriend now that can sing her butt off. She's great.
That's true. But Susie wasn't a singer. She was just doing it for fun and filling in. But that said, she jumped in there on one song. But Kerri, that's right. I forgot. You were part of Truth Movement for a little while.
I know.
Yes. So Kerri has a lovely voice. Kerri has a beautiful voice.
She has an amazing voice.
Yeah. And she came and she did a few live shows with us, actually. And she was on Soul Search Part 1. Soul Search Part 1, which is this big, long, it's kind of like a Pink Floyd vibe. It's a big, long kind of suite, I guess you would call it in music.
Wow.
It's a big suite, so it goes on for like 11 minutes. It has all these different integral parts, and Kerri sings some beautiful background vocals, which are actually featured vocals. And
and Corey, let me tell you something. Kerri can also dance. I want to bring up dancing.
Uh-oh.
Watch
out.
She's a triple threat, and we've now learned that you're also a triple threat.
He is.
I've been dancing since I was a child.
Yeah.
And by the way, professionally dancing with some of the greatest choreographers in the world since I was a child. So even though was on a show this season.
What was it called?
Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, with the Stars? You were
so jealous.
Anyway, don't be.
Don't be.
The point is, I was literally on it for a hot minute, but
2 shows.
Yeah, exactly. But that said, I will be on again this coming week. As you know, they bring everybody back for the finale. We get to dance one more time. Isn't that wonderful?
Are you excited about that?
No.
Oh, really?
No.
Why?
No.
How was Jenna? How was Jenna Johnson?
Jenna was wonderful. I'm not going to get into it. There was a lot of stupidity in the mudslinging that went on, like behind the scenes. Actually, everything was great.
Yeah.
But the behind the scenes drama and BS that people throw around that show, I've never seen anything like it. It's the worst, most toxic.
Reality. Corey, that's reality shows.
Right, but I'm saying it's not on, it's nobody there on the set. They're on the set, everybody gets along, everybody's great, everybody's happy. Like you're just there working, you're working hard. You don't even have time to look up. You're just working.
Yeah.
But then it's like you start reading these things in the paper, like, oh yeah, this person's mad at this person. These people aren't talking to each other.
Oh,
Or
no.
people weren't working hard enough.
Corey Feldman destroyed the show. He destroyed the whole show because he was such an egomaniac and so difficult to work with. And you're like, where is this coming from? And I asked Jen, I'm like, where's this coming from? She's like, oh, it's just Max. She rolls her eyes. She's like, it's just Max. Don't pay attention to him. He just wants attention.
Oh my God.
That's
like,
not
oh my
okay.
God.
That's just not okay. I know that happened to me. That happened to me on a reality show very, very long time ago. They actually edited things I said to somebody else and made it look like
Oh
I
yeah.
said to
It's called
somebody.
Frankenbiting.
Yeah,
Frankenbiting.
I
That's what they do.
got an apology letter from the editor.
Well, good for you, because
Yeah.
guess what? It happened to me during the entirety of Surreal Life, and they basically made me look like the world's biggest asshat, egomaniac, and they never apologized. I was like crying hysterically.
But Corey,
every week that show
after
was
Dancing
on.
with the Stars, you took to social media and you were very professional. You wanted to set the record straight. It wasn't like
That's right.
you were throwing some
No.
trash.
The last thing I want is drama. Are you kidding me? I hate that stuff.
Well, you have a little drama.
What? What drama?
Can we talk about Netflix, Charlie Sheen?
Oh God, Jesus! There's what do you want me to say? There's nothing to say. I mean, other than that, like we said what we had to say. It's to me very disgusting that Netflix is supporting that.
Supporting what?
Supporting the lie. But
Well, Netflix does a lot of
I don't
things
want
that,
to really go
that
much
are
further into it. My phone's just disconnected.
not
Conveniently
great.
enough, what a good time for that to happen, huh? They just unplugged. Where do we plug?
All right,
it
he's
in?
plugging himself in, Kerri. He got unplugged.
So I can't hear anything you're
All
saying.
right.
Wasn't that good timing?
It was
Oh,
perfect. I think I saw him.
God saving me from
You-
the hot seat, right?
Corey, you pulled the plug out. I
No,
saw it.
God pulled the plug out. He said, "That's enough. That's enough."
Kerri, what were you going to say? Corey didn't hear you because he was unplugged. Now he's plugged in. Kerri, what did he
Oh,
say?
I was just saying Netflix has a history of like doing things that to me are very unethical. And a lot of shows like where they did this show with kids that were dancing that were trying to be sexy, but they're like 6,
Oh
7.
yeah.
It
Oh yeah, I
it
remember
was
that. That was
disgusting.
awful.
It was
Right.
disgusting. And then
Wasn't
but
there also they featured that movie about like the little boy that was like in love with his like adult guardian or something? I don't know, some weird.
it's just they've done a lot of things that seem not okay to me.
I don't think they care. I think they're just looking for the ratings.
Yeah, you're
Well,
probably right.
I don't
But I
want to.
have
I'll
to
let
say
you guys
something.
pontificate. I don't want to pontificate. All I can say is that there's been as many people know, an ongoing attack on my person, on my character, on everything, trying to say that I lied. So all I want to say is, why would I lie?
I was going to ask you
like-
that. Why
like,
would you lie?
First of all, why stick to this one story my whole life?
Right.
All I've ever said is that there was one person that I could reveal that was a very big name in Hollywood.
Right.
And I said that for many years, but I never said the name. They tried to say it like, oh, he's been saying this for years. I never said it. I had to wait until I had the legal ability. As you know, you're a
Right.
lawyer. I had to wait till I had the legal grounds to be able to, with all the corroboration and all the evidence that was in a documentary, and we laid it out very properly in that movie, and we put it all out there. And anybody who saw that knows we did a great job. Unfortunately, a lot of people didn't get to see it because it was stolen from me, and there was a massive attack on, on everything. But I don't really want to go too deep into it because unfortunately it hasn't stopped. The harassment hasn't stopped.
But don't you think it vindicates you a little bit when Charlie Sheen talks about it in this Netflix, aka Charlie, when he brings it up and it's so important to him? If it wasn't true what you said, why would he be so defensive?
Yeah, well, that's a good point. I can't tell you because I can't give you the other side. I can't give you the what's it called,
The rebuttal.
yeah, or the benefit of the doubt kind of argument, because there is no benefit of the doubt because I know what I know. And it's something that I was told since I was 11 years old, or not 11 years, I'm sorry, 14 years old. 14
Right.
years old, at the time when I met the other guy, and I don't want to even say his name, but I just want to say that, like, obviously he told me at 14 years old. And so from that
Regardless
moment,
of what his mother might have said afterward.
well, his mother changed the story for convenience or for whatever reason. I can't.
Maybe
tell you.
money.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I'm just,
again,
I don't know anything.
you
I'm
guys
just
are
saying.
pontificating. All I can tell you is that the story has been twisted around to try to put the blame on me as a 14-year-old boy who was being molested, who was being taken advantage of, who was surrounded by pedophiles. And I literally have this photo, it's in my book, of me and Mr. Haim surrounded by 6 guys. And all 6 of those guys are pedophiles in that picture. Like literally everybody. So like we were in a nest of pedophiles, and that was what was surrounding us. I was 14, he was 14. So how can anybody with the right mind try and say that a 14-year-old is responsible because he introduced him to another guy that was a pedophile? No, I was in a nest of pedophiles. And the guy that that Judy wants to say was the one that actually did it, which yes, he was inappropriate for sure with Corey, but that was Corey's friend. That's the point.
Yeah.
Like we met him, he was a friend of Alfie's. That's how we met him. It was all connected. But this guy was in our life for like 10 years. It wasn't like he just came in, I introduced them, the guy took advantage of Corey and that was the end of it. No, this guy was our friend for 10 years. He was part of the story. He was part of our lives. And I think Kerri can attest to that.
Yeah, no, I absolutely can. It's so interesting because the first time I met you, Corey, way before we dated, was at Alfie's Soda Pop Club.
I didn't know that.
Yes, you did. You forgot because you and
How
Hayden
old? Kerri, how old were you then?
12, 13?
That
Okay.
young?
Maybe,
Oh,
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
all the kids were.
Yeah.
We were all 12 and 13 going to Alfie's Soda Pop Club. Now, Alfie's Soda Pop Club, for the record, so we're putting it out on your show,
Right.
was run by a guy who was supposedly the son of the head of casting for Paramount Television. And that head of casting was named Bobby Hoffman. But it wasn't his son, it was his gay lover, which is fine if you want to be gay lovers, but then don't open your house to a bunch of kids and
Yeah.
throw parties for them where you're providing alcohol.
You think things were different back then than could have occurred now?
I don't want to pontificate because I'm not around the kids in the business these days. I can't tell you what's going on out
Well,
there.
I think things are a little bit different. I mean, I don't think you had the protections that maybe now they do.
That's true. There are things that, thank God my buddy Sean Astin is now the head of SAG. He's now the president of SAG. I'm hoping that he can help put through some of these guidelines and rules that can help protect children for the future. So yes, I'm hopeful that things will start to change in that regard.
Kerri, what were things like back then when you met Corey?
Well, I mean, he was like the big superstar, right? When he walked in with Corey Haim, it was one of the parties, and they had taken 2 young girls that had cancer. So they were
I
dating,
remember that. Yep.
yeah, for 2 girls that had cancer, and I thought
It was a Make-A-Wish Foundation
Yeah,
thing, and we'd supplied their wish or whatever, which was
Right.
to be their dates to a party.
Oh, really?
So we took them to what we thought was a safe teen party at the Roosevelt Hotel.
and it was at that point safe for that. And then it was, I think, the after parties. I went to a couple of them, and there was alcohol, and it was not good for kids. But I know the ones that I went to, my dad dropped me off, and I got to stay 2 hours, and he picked me up. But
Thank
but,
God. Thank God
yeah.
you had a good dad.
Oh, great dad.
cared.
He was
And-
worried,
and-
really worried.
Yeah,
But
well,
he
he should
did
have
it,
been. He had every
and
right
he-
to be worried. Yeah.
And but afterward, when my mom did, I got to go, to the after parties because I'm like, oh, I'm spending the night at this person's house, and I got to see what went on, and I got to see who was there, and
And what went on? Tell us what went on.
it was just gross. Like I mean, I didn't. When I was young, I didn't see that. Like it didn't. It was like it was fun. It was cool. I got to be with the cool kids. But when you grow up and you go, wow, it's like, why are there 12-year-olds hanging out with all these older guys? And Alfie was always surrounded by young kids, boys for the most part.
Mhm.
And there was
Never
alcohol.
girls. Never girls. He was never
It
surrounded.
was
by
always
girls.
boys. It was
Yeah.
always boys, and they were mean to me. I remember them. This guy was Bobby.
Jacoby.
Yes, Bobby Jacoby. He's cool now. We're good.
Yeah.
But Bobby Jacoby goes, ask whoever it was, how fast his grandma. I'm 12 years old and I can't believe I'm remembering this. He goes, ask this person how fast his grandma can run. You won't believe it. So I turn and I go, how fast can your grandma run? And he looks at me and goes, that's not funny. My grandma doesn't have legs. And he did that to me in front of all these people. And
Wow.
it was a joke. But he did it I felt so bad and I was so
I'm
embarrassed.
sorry. That's
No,
terrible.
it was so awful.
Did you feel weird as well? Because Kerri's talking about like it was yesterday remembering this.
Oh, I remember it like it was yesterday
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it
You
was
don't forget
crazy.
these
I mean, it
things.
was crazy,
No,
but there
so
are, I have to say something. I have to say something because, I did the documentary that Corey put out, and
why don't more people stand up? That's what I want to know.
I
Why
don't
don't
know.
more kids
I
come
think
forward?
there's,
You know how many kids were molested in this business? You know how many kids that were of our age that saw this going on, that it happened to, and yet they just, when I came out with all that information, they just literally let me flail in the wind. They
yeah.
literally let me
Well,
just
because a lot of these people,
drown.
Corey, they've done things that are bad and it's on, maybe it's on tape. Maybe they're afraid of the backlash. Maybe they've done things that they're being blackmailed for. You never know in this business. But I do know that there are certain things that I
Well, I
know.
have nothing to hide. That's why I always
That's
speak
right.
speak
But let me
openly.
say
And
something because I know that Corey Haim's mom, Judy, was talking about a guy that Corey and you and I have hung out with. And I won't say the name, but there was a guy
you
that
can
was
say his
being
name.
Yeah,
You
go
can
Dominic
ahead.
name. He's
Brasha.
dead anyway. It doesn't matter. He's dead. He
I
can't
did.
sue you.
Okay. I hope
Yeah,
his
and
cat.
you're on a legal show, so you're protected.
Okay, so Dominic Brasha, that we all lived together. We lived together for a year. And Corey and Dominic were friends. I mean, maybe they
Corey,
Hey,
Corey Haim,
yeah,
Corey
be very
Feldman,
clear. You have to
and
be very clear when you speak
myself.
about
Yeah,
that.
all of us hung out. I lived with Dominic Brasha. Corey and him were on the phone all the time. They
Corey
hung
who?
out.
Corey
Haim.
hey,
You have to say that,
Right.
Gary.
Okay. So listen, Corey, you're
Kerri,
living with him. You're not on the phone with somebody you're living with. Corey Haim and Dominic Brasha were on the phone all the time.
What were they
They were
talking
friends.
about?
They were friends. They would hang out. They would do things,
Okay.
whatever it was. I mean,
So did you see them hanging out? Did you see them being buddies?
yes, they went out together. I think we all hung out one
And
time.
what year was that, Carrie?
1996 and 1997.
Okay,
95
so
and
you're
96.
talking 10 years after the supposed events that Judy is trying to blame me for. Because
Yeah, no, I
obviously
was there.
we were 14 years old when Dominic and Corey first met, when I went to Alfie's parties, when I was only 13 or 14 at Alfie's parties. Obviously, we were kids when we first met Dominic. Dominic was introduced to Corey through Alfie. I was introduced to Dominic through Alfie, right? Alfie introduced us to these guys, right? So Corey and I met him at that age. So why would Corey and Dominic have been friends in 1996 if all this was true, that it was a one-time event, he was taken advantage of by him when he was 14 years old, and he was 86, and Judy beat him off with a pool stick or whatever the story is? It's all BS. It's all BS.
But people have to understand what they're saying is like that it was Dominic it wasn't Charlie. It was Dominic that did this. Dominic's the bad guy. He was the one. I'm like, well, if Dominic was a bad guy and he's the one who is the perpetrator, why is Corey Haim hanging out with him, calling him all the time? Why are we hanging out and he's laughing and we're having fun? Like it just I know what I saw.
Well, let me explain it to you this way. Dominic was a bad guy. Okay, he was unfortunately not mentally capable. I
Okay,
think he
but was
was.
he
I
bad to
think. I
Corey?
think. Well, no.
Haim.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I think he was maybe mentally challenged. I
Okay.
think that maybe he didn't have all his faculties, and I think that as a gay man who was fat, who was overweight, and he had the attention of this younger, good-looking guy, he thought this is a relationship. And I think that's the way he saw it, which is why I couldn't hate him, because I don't think that he thought he was taking advantage of this kid. I think he thought it was a mutual relationship. And I think that Corey allowed him to some degree to think that. Now, I think that, obviously Corey was not gay. Corey didn't want to be gay,
Right.
but he was sexually confused because of the things that had happened to him as a child.
so in your mind, it was abuse. It wasn't something
Well, it
that
was
was
abuse.
consensual.
No, it was
Well,
abuse. It was
I just have to
consensual.
say,
Hold on, let me back it up. It was consensual, but he was 14, so it can't be
Right.
consensual. So therefore, it is abuse.
but
Right?
for me, when I hung out with him for that year, there was a friendship there. I didn't see any sexual stuff. I didn't see any of
No,
that.
no, there was
Not
none
at
of
all.
that by the
And
time.
what about you,
Hold on,
Corey?
hold on. There was none of that by the time you were in the picture, which was when Corey was now what, 24, 25 in that time zone.
And what about you? What was your mindset? Kerri's told us about what she was remembering, what she thought. What were you thinking?
About what?
But what was going on?
At which point?
Were you enjoying it? Were you scared? Were you
No, I mean,
were you ignorant?
no. So what happened was I knew that Corey and Dominic had their in foie gras, whatever
Yeah.
you want to call it, right? I knew about it. I wasn't there. I didn't witness it. I just heard from both sides that things had happened.
So
Okay?
when someone says that you weren't there, you didn't witness it, that's why we shouldn't believe you when we start talking about what Charlie's saying. How do you respond to that?
No. Charlie, okay, well, first of all, I don't want to really directly respond to what Charlie's saying other than to say Corey told me what he told me the first day we hung out. When we were
And that's
14
important.
years old,
Right.
the very first day, he was so traumatized by what had happened to him a year earlier, whatever it was, that he had to tell me the first day, this is what I've been through.
Right.
And not only did he want to tell me about it, but he was trying to convince me that it was okay, by the way. That's what the conversation started with was, hey, we can mess around, it's okay.
Yeah.
And it was like, no, we can't. So I feel bad. I shouldn't even be going down this road. I feel like we're going too far. This is probably more than I should talk about, so I think I'll just leave it there.
Well, you can, but I
We did
want to
talk
make
about
sure
this in the documentary. Sorry,
that's right. And you're here on Gurvey's Law. I want to make sure you have an opportunity to say your piece because a lot of times, people aren't going to listen to
I
you.
hear you. Every time I talk about it, it comes back on me. The slings and arrows come back on me. The attempts on my life. It's just I've been put through so much hell because of this. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I want to move on. But at the same time, when you've got this guy going out there throwing shade at me, trying to act like I'm the one, doing anything. I'm not doing anything. I promised Corey I would tell a story. I told that story. That story was 5 years ago. I want to be left alone at this point.
Yeah.
I said what I had to say. Obviously, no investigations happened. Nobody cared. It was a nothing burger. So if nobody cares, then please just leave me alone about it. Like, just leave me alone. Like,
And
that's
you've
all
been
I
so
ask. Like, I
consistent.
did what I promised I would do. I promised my best
Right.
friend. He asked me on, literally 1 year before he died. He said, "I'm probably not going to be alive much longer, and if something happens to me, please promise me that you will tell my story." I said, "You go tell it yourself. You're here right now. Go do it." He said, "I can't." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because he'll kill me." I said, "Well, then write a book, start writing,
Yeah.
And he was like, I can't do it. I need you to do it for me. That's all I can tell you is I need you to." And I said, "I can't do that. That's not my place." And he said, "But if I'm gone, it has to be." I said, "Okay, if you're really gone in a year, then I'll find a way to do it. But you're not going to be gone in a year. You'll be here." And then he died in 1 year. And that really happened.
Yeah, and you've been consistent through it all. There's nothing that has been able to refute or rebut or change the story at all.
Right. Well, the other thing is that people came after me and said, "Why is Corey lying? Why is Corey making this up?" Okay, if you watch the documentary, and unfortunately, again, not as many people got to see it as we would have liked because it was stolen from me and we had to shut it down after they stole it because they were basically profiting off of my pain and my misery. But anyway, the point is all these people came to me and they said, "Why, oh shoot, I lost my train of thought.
Well, we were talking about anyone who might have had a rebuttal or refuting anything, and you said you made the documentary, it got shut down, but that was what
Right.
the truth was.
We put it out there. I said it one time, and all I really wanted to say was what I was promising that I would say, which was the story. And it wasn't just me. That was what my point was, that it wasn't just me. There was 7 people or 8 people or 9 people that all brought their own personal experience, their own personal firsthand conversations that they had with Mr. Haim, where he told them the
Right.
same thing that he told me. Corroborating it, right.
Kerri, we only have a couple minutes. What do you want to say to Corey?
Oh no, Corey knows how I feel. I believe him. I mean, I'll tell you something. So this happened over 30 years ago. And I once said, I'm like, "You kind of look like Charlie Sheen." And Charlie Sheen was a good looking guy back then. You look good, And I said, "You look like him." And he went ballistic. Corey, do you remember this? You went ballistic on me. "Don't ever call me that.
It's not
Don't
the
ever
only
say
time it's
that."
happened, Kerri. I hate to say it.
He's gone ballistic.
No,
and you should
not that. Not that I've gone ballistic. I mean, it's
No,
not the
but-
first time people have said that. People say that to me. I don't know why.
Corey, I thought you were talking.
I personally don't see it, but people say it.
And
But
and
you-
then
I
you
said
put on
this in your
Howard
doc-
Stern.
Oh yeah, on Howard Stern. Talk about the Howard Stern thing. That's
Oh,
fun.
okay. No, I was going to tell you because so she brought up Howard Stern. I want to say this story really quick because it's really funny. So, Dea, what's her last name? Okay, so she's an Emmy-winning actress. She was on The Sopranos.
Oh, right. I know.
Drea, her name is
Drea De Matteo.
Drea De Matteo. Okay. So I was at Shooter Jennings' Halloween party over the weekend. This is a funny story. And Drea came up to me and she said, "Hey," it was at her house, by the way, because they used to date. And she's like, "I don't know if you'll remember this, but the very first night I got into LA, I met you at a club and I was there. I was like 17, you were like 18 or something like that. I met you at a club. I was really drunk. You offered me and my girlfriends a place to go after the club and said, if you're drunk and you need a place to calm down so you don't have to drive, you can stay with me and I'll take care of you until you're sober and whatever." And it was her and her girlfriend. And she said, "We just got to LA. We didn't know who we could trust. We figured you were probably going to try and take advantage of us, but we went anyway." And we get there and like, you're like, "Okay, let's go up to the bedroom." And I'm like, "Oh boy, here it comes. This is going to be it." And she said, "And when we got up to the bedroom, you stuck a phone in my face and we're like, 'Hey, I'm on the phone with Howard Stern. Come talk to Howard Stern.'" And Howard was like, "So Corey, what are you doing there? You got two girls. Oh, it must be so hot, blah, 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 blah." And I'm like, "Well, I do have two girls here, but no, it's just us hanging out. We're just hanging out. It's just two girls, we're just hanging out." And he's like, "What are you doing? Is it like sexy? Or are you guys getting something?" I'm like, "No, we're just hanging out. Like, they're just two nice girls. I'm trying to help them out, whatever, right?" And he didn't believe it. He couldn't believe it. And she said, the next day when we were leaving, I turned to my girlfriend and I was like, "I can't believe it. Like, he was such a gentleman." Because she said, "And let me tell you," it's like ever since that was my first day in LA. She said, "Ever since, it's probably never happened again."
Right.
Because there's never been another guy that's been like that. But I will tell you that when we went to your house, we were 100% safe. And the next morning we left and nothing happened. And you were a gentleman. And I was like, "Awesome." And she's like, "But I just wanted to share that story with you." And I was like, "I actually remember it because I remember coming home from a club and putting Howard on the phone with two girls to prove to him that just because I had two girls there didn't mean it was something sexual."
That's why you are Kerri's favorite. She moved out of LA, although she comes back often. But I'll tell you, she has so much respect for you because there are a lot of creeps here. Right, Kerri?
Yeah, no, Corey's awesome. We've been friends for a very, very long time. I know who he is. He's not a liar. And I respect him for putting his entire reputation on the line for his friend. And that I know what that feels like. I know what that
that's the kind of person he is. And
I respect you, Kerri, for being such a solid advocate for peace, a solid advocate for women, a solid advocate for elders.
Right.
I mean, you have made so many examples and statements throughout your short life, and holding your dad's legacy in such high esteem and such high regard. I have tremendous respect for the way you've handled yourself. You've done great.
Wow.
I'm very proud of you.
And I would ditto that. Both of you look like you're still in your 20s. It's unbelievable.
I'm straight.
I've seen two people who don't age.
That's right.
Kerri, it's so great to be with you again, or at least on Zoom here. Corey, thanks for coming in.
Alan. Appreciate it.
Really appreciate it. What fun, kind of. Thanks again.
Some of it was serious, but
some of it was serious. That's what life is. Sometimes serious, sometimes fun.
That's right.
Have a great week. Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.